it's probably not a good idea to just go down there like a crazy person and just say, "Hello everyone, there's aliens." Try that now. Here's our new ship with time shielding on it to help protect us from the changes in time around us while we're navigating time. Isn't it cool?
That's it?
Oh, whoops, I forgot to turn off the cloak. Here it is.
Oh my goodness!
Hello everyone. We're back in red. Red border, red outfit. This is Prodigy, Season 2. I managed to watch it. How did that work? It's a secret. But we're checking out the first episode and the second episode of the second season of Prodigy. Against all odds, Prodigy Season 2 is, well, here somewhere. We thought it dead, but it was back alive. I don't know if we're going to get a Season 3. If you have to fight for Season 2, are you going to get Season 3? I don't know. It's only my favorite New Trek show. No big deal, right? And we're going to be speed running this show, kind of. Lower Decks, the final season of that, is on the horizon. I want to get this out fast for various reasons. So we're going to be doing like 2 episodes per review, maybe more. We're just doing the first 2 here, and I did not keep watching. I pried myself away. They're dumping them all at once. I managed to stop after 2. And we're going to pretend it's 1 episode. It is Into the Breach, Part 1 and Part 2. But when we go forward and we don't have Part 1, Part 2, 2-parters and things like that, I'm just going to pretend they're the same episode, and I'm going to figure out the naming format for the video later. I'm really flying by the seat of my pants here. I've developed a strategy whereas I review 1 episode in 1 review. This is going to be different. Things are different now. This is Prodigy Season 2. But things aren't that different. Let's get right into it. I just want to note here that the first half of Into the Breach, that is 2 episodes, it starts out really good, a little hairy in spots, and then it gets a little worse. Overall, it's very enjoyable, but overall, it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I don't know if you've seen this. There's this classic film where children find gold wrappers in chocolate bars of sorts and know that they're invited on a secret mission to Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Let's replace the Chocolate Factory with the Voyager A, and we're going to replace Wonka with Janeway. So Admiral Wonka sends out a special golden signal to various children who happen to be the characters from Prodigy Season 1 that we're going on an adventure to the Chocolate Factory. I mean the Voyager. Now that I said that, maybe you're going to realize just how similar the two are. Kids, meaning you, the viewer, are whisked away to a magical land of things you never imagined before, things you didn't think could be real, like a new Voyager that looks like a Sovereign class, and it's hideous. The way things look are purely subjective. Don't hate me for not liking the way things look. I just said it, subjective. There are some objective standards with Federation starships set out by Gene Roddenberry and Andrew Probert back in the days of Next Generation, when they hashed out how you're supposed to design a Starfleet ship. Barring that, purely just on visuals, I can tell it's the Voyager, but I can also tell it's lost everything that made the Voyager nice. There I go again, hollering about the ship. I said this before, so if you've been watching me for a while, you know what I think. I really just love ships. If I could just design ships and not review anything, I would. It's my favorite thing. It was my first love, designing things in 3D. That's why I learned to do it, was to design Starfleet ships myself. Finally, I didn't have to rely on anybody else, and I could just do what I wanted to do. I've already wasted hours today doing this when I should have been working on this video. Yeah, I waste time doing that stuff. So this channel, in a sense, was a way to display it, amongst other things. But we're having fun here, so don't worry about it. Our kids, that is Dal, Rok-Tahk, Murf, Jankom, Zero, we're at Starfleet Academy. We're picking up where we left off, but I think a few months have gone by. And we're not really in Starfleet. It looks like we're prep school, like we're not even cadets. Are we cadets? Did anybody say this? It looks like we're just kind of like sitting in on classes. I don't know, but Rok-Tahk looks like she's teaching it. I could have used a little bit more information here. These outfits are terrible, but it's good that they're not replacing the Protostar outfits. They're actually like a unique cadet style. I'm saying cadet, I don't really know. Cadet style outfit that is uniquely hideous. The gray sections look green in certain lighting, and the black sections look brown in certain lighting. The whole thing, it's just not really my style, but it's visual. Like I said before, it's up to you. But for me, that's not working. When I review the visuals of this episode later on in this review, I'm going to be more objective in that regard. So these little things, for me, it's not really that big of a deal, but I didn't like it. That's coming off of the Prodigy Season 1 Protostar outfits. It's a contender for my favorite uniform. But even without the color, even without the primary colors, it just looks sick to me. But I'm sorry to be gushing about Prodigy Season 1. This is Prodigy Season 2. Our characters are in Dal's case, not attending class. Naughty, he should be in class. I was disappointed in Dal for this whole series of episodes. Disappointed, not happy. I'm getting a Mariner vibe, like the character who doesn't want to grow up, despite all odds. Hopefully I'm wrong, and this completely does a 180, but Dal should know a little better even now. Even now, I would have rather Dal not be absent from class. I was never absent once. At Starfleet, of course. Rok-Tahk, like I said, is like teaching a class. Murf is going crazy in security, which was awesome. And Jankom is working on his manners. I feel like this could be a fun adventure for Jankom. Jankom is trying to, tamp down on his Tellarite sensibilities in Starfleet and act a little bit more mannerly. And it's funny to see the outburst and then the clamp down. It's very cute. I think it's going to work this season. Like I said before, we're all getting our messages. Oh, Jankom's going places. And they all have their little pad. And Janeway specifically asked for these characters. That is, our Prodigy Season 1 characters, minus Gwyn, notably, to go on a secret mission, calling it Studying Abroad. So fun. You really feel the joy these characters have. There's a joy and a sincerity and a fun to this and a liveliness to the screenplay that you get in Prodigy that you don't get in other New Trek. And you know what I mean by New Trek. I don't mean it in a nasty way. It's just an easy way to demarcate where one ends and one begins. New Trek is 2009 to now, give or take, depending on certain factors. It's just so alive. I don't know what else to say. There's just, the frames just have more in them. There's just more interesting things. It excites me more because I have the mind of a child. Some people have the heart of a child. I like to have the mind of a child. So we get picked up by Robert Picardo. That is the Doctor from Voyager. The Doctor, I'm just going to call him the Doctor. He's a hologram, mobile emitter. How do you leave the ship? Mobile emitter. We have our A-class characters who are animated very well. And then we have the B class. And I think the Doctor might be in B class. Because there's some dubbing. There's some facial animation that looks a little bit uncanny. Some of the dubbing doesn't quite match up perfectly. To my eye, not really a problem. It's just something I noticed. We're out here overlooking that bridge. You know that kind of red bridge that's there in that place where Starfleet headquarters is? You know the place. And the sky. I don't know if you noticed this, but the sky is uniquely beautiful. Why is it a good-looking sky? Did you notice this? There's just something about the sky. It just looks really, really cool and inviting. We get whisked away by the Doctor to the new Voyager orbiting Mars. I suppose this is the Utopia Planitia shipyards, but I don't think they really say it. It probably is. I mean, look where it is. We go on to the new Voyager, and it's shot like this is a really cool-looking ship. To me, the reveal is ugly, and the ship is ugly. It's just, I don't know. I might guess from afar that it's not as advanced as the Voyager. I might guess that. Just because of the greeblies, the way they stick out, the silver look to it. It doesn't look clean like the Voyager. It's just nasty. I don't know. I never liked it from day one when that was first revealed, and I don't like it now. It's just kind of like a sleeker Voyager that loses all its soul. I mean, you might totally disagree. Please keep watching, but this is not an objective thing. It's in the eye of the beholder. Literally, like, we're seeing this now. Eyes open. There's the Voyager leaving Mars with all of our characters in tow, and we're going on a secret mission. But we see Nova Squadron. Those the really cool dudes. They got the cool little pin. Oh yeah, Nova Squadron. We're gonna do cool stuff and not have any problems, and not do anything weird and not get ahead of ourselves, are we? That's not going to happen, right, with Nova Squadron this time. They do walk by our characters, and they call our characters Never Squadron. And that was my first laugh. Never Squadron. Very mean. But it wouldn't be Nova Squadron unless they were causing some kind of trouble, right? And our new character this season, Majel, I don't know how they're pronouncing it. I listened to it. It sounded like they just said Michelle or something. Where did they get that name? Majel. I have no idea where in Star Trek you would derive the name Majel for a character. But this is our new Vulcan character. We had T'Lyn in Lower Decks. We had a few good seasons. In this case, one. Let's throw in a Vulcan. And then the Prodigy team were like, hold on. Can we just copy their homework and change it a little bit to make it look like we didn't copy it? Okay. And they shove in a new Vulcan. Maybe it's going to be totally different, but it's interesting that we did it twice in the two animated outings of Star Trek that we've had. We have a new Vulcan and then a new Vulcan thrown into the mix. What? How about the new character is a Borg? Just like a reclaimed, kind of, not reclaimed, what do they call it? An X-Borg, an XB. A free Borg. Why not? I don't know. I don't think it's impossible now, is it? At this time. But I'm going off trying to review what I wanted it to be rather than what I got, which is always a mistake. Let's get back on track. There's something not quite right with this mission. All of our characters get assigned to their little areas. Of course, Dal has to go study the books. If you want to be in command, guess what? You're reading books. Haha. Command sounds good, but it's hard. As it should be. That's why I stick to engineering. Jankom gets to be around a very cool new looking warp core that has slipstream drive, confirmed. Rok-Tahk gets to play around with the cetacean navigators. Deep cuts, if we didn't already see whale/dolphin characters in Lower Decks. Murf is in security in a holodeck just playing around. Haha, have fun, Murf. And Zero is in medbay, helping the doctor. The doctor kind of says, what? Our mission? Okay, yeah. After being called by Janeway, and says, I'll be right there, Shuttle Bay 3. Whoops, I meant 2. We only have 2 shuttle bays. Ha ha. What do you mean by that? Shuttle Bay 3. Would you be quiet? Dal was right. There's something going on here. Dal has a cockamamie plan, and I think it's time to enact that cockamamie plan. Zero goes to Dal's studying quarters and says, you were right. There's something going on here. Shuttle Bay 3? Wait a minute. The Voyager only has 2 shuttle bays. You are beginning to learn. Nothing good ever happens in a Jeffries tube. If you're going into a Jeffries tube, there's something wrong. You're sneaking around. You're trying to fix something bad. Good things don't happen in Jeffries tubes, except for those few times where it did happen. Now that I'm thinking about it. But we do go into the Jeffries tube, much to the chagrin of Rok-Tahk. Rok-Tahk is me. I was a Rok-Tahk. You're breaking the rules. We worked so hard to get here. What are you guys doing? This better not be one of your cockamamie plans. It is. And you can see in this moment, Murf standing beside Rok-Tahk, and Murf miming Rok-Tahk's like emotions, like because Murf can't talk, but has some kind of sense of what's going on. So Rok-Tahk is telling us not to go forward here. Don't go into that Jeffries tube. Don't you go looking for Shuttle Bay 3, which is in there. And we turn around, and in the next frame, Murf is already halfway into the Jeffries tube. Only Murf could do this. This is why you need Murf. Murf is the character that can get away with this. So, Murf is on point, and we're following along. That means Zero, Murf, Rok-Tahk, and Dal, and Jankom are in that Jeffries tube, where they should not be. But they do stumble upon Shuttle Bay 3, a secret hangar converted into a bay. Uh-oh, what's in there? Seemingly nothing. Dal kicks a little object on the floor, and it flies through the air and hits an object that's not supposed to be there. It's cloaked. There's a cloaked ship in this bay. Uh-oh, the door's opening. Janeway and her crew, you know those two characters from before, the coolest characters ever, the Andorian guy and the Tellarite guy. I forget their names. Like, what is it, like Tyses or something like that, and someone else. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but they're so cool. They come into this bay, and therefore our characters get the lowdown on this secret mission. They, with the help of Murf, hang off the ceiling while Murf curiously drools onto the floor, potentially giving away their position. They hear the details of this secret mission. Jellicoe better not take away this mission on us. Our mission to save Chakotay? Shh, this is a secret. This ship is going in there. You know who's going to be going with that ship right off the bat. You just know, right? You know what's going to happen here. Our characters are going to be on that cloaked ship, going through that wormhole. Yada, yada, yada. Adventure ensues. That's probably going to be Prodigy Season 2. And I'm probably right about this, although I've only seen the first 2 episodes. What are we going to do? Right? Eventually, Dal takes it upon himself to hide above the bridge in a Jeffries tube, where you can see the bridge directly underneath this grate. Good idea. Great design. We can accidentally lower a grate to get into the bridge. We know that now. The audience knows that now. Bridge shenanigans are always going on in Star Trek. Someone's getting onto the bridge who isn't supposed to be there. Someone's getting off the bridge who isn't supposed to leave. We know now that there's a duct that you can just go through. I don't know. We had to get Dal on the bridge somehow. He does get to the bridge. And, he knows about Shuttle Bay 3. We get off the bridge, and the doctor says, Janeway wants to see you in the observation lounge. All of you. So we do see Janeway in the observation lounge, where Janeway basically tells them, hey guys, here's what happened in Season 1. That's what this amounts to. Review for people who didn't see Season 1 or saw it and forgot it. Or kids? Are kids going to understand this? I'm stupid. I'm an adult, though, and I could barely understand it. The timey-wimey nonsense? I guess I should have read Temporal Mechanics 101, which was a joke that went on twice as long as it should have in this episode. Janeway basically explains that Chakotay is stuck on the other side of that wormhole. To make it simple, he's in the future, where first contact between the Federation and Solum didn't go so hot, and Solum ended up being a nightmare planet, with Chakotay seemingly stranded there. So says this chip, or the black box in the Protostar, which was destroyed a few months ago. Are you guys in? You guys know now? Can you keep a lid on it? This is a secret mission. Yada, yada, yada. Majel from Nova Squadron kids hears this. Guess what, Zero? Vulcans have psychic abilities, latent, low-level psychic abilities, that improve in correspondence with how close they are to other psychic characters, that being Zero. Zero is a Medusan, and now they know. Majel does this psychic stare into the soul of Zero, which doubles as a stare into the soul of the audience. And now she knows that we know that she knows, and we're getting on that ship. And we have a two-way chase here. Our characters going the illegal and weird way through the Jeffries tubes, and Majel trying to go through the turbo lifts. And there's a funny dichotomy to it that I couldn't help but laugh at, but we both end up there at almost the same time. Our characters end up in the Infinity, You know that cloak ship that was in Shuttle Bay 3? Cloaks are bad. So's time travel. So's this mission. We're in that ship. The ship is absolutely hideous. It looks like one of those Maquis Raider things / Starfleet cadet training ships / Federation fighter. You know what I'm talking about? It shows up in my tier list video of all Federation ships. It's hideous. It's experimental. I don't know. It's not for me. It looks slapped together, and maybe it was. But it has a time paradox shield to protect us from timey-wimey shenanigans. Like in Voyager. I believe we had something like this in Voyager. Or it was the Krenim or someone like that. They had technology that would protect you from changes in your own timeline. Pretty cool. And it's probably going to be cool in this season once we start experiencing some real timey-wimey stuff. If you need me to say the word timey-wimey another time, it is uttered by Dal, I believe. In this episode, he says timey-wimey. So now you can do a supercut of every time I said timey-wimey. But Majel is there too, with the rest of the squadron kids. And they're not too happy about this. We cite regulation. This is unsanctioned. We try to arrest them. Jankom's head falls onto the panel, accidentally activating the Janeway wormhole sequence, which is a pre-programmed in flight path that takes it into the wormhole automatically. Maybe that wasn't a good idea. But like in all Trek, it seems to be easy to create an unsanctioned liftoff of a shuttle from a Federation ship. It just keeps happening over and over and over and over again, and it happens here too. This is more like old Trek, the Infinity, with Majel, Jankom, Dal, I believe Zero on board, leave to go into that wormhole. Blah, 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 anomalies. We can't lock onto it. Star Trek things are happening. Sorry, Janeway, there's Star Trek stuff going on. I can't lock onto it with Tractor Beam. It's gone. And that ship does go into that wormhole. Finishing off episode 1, or part 1, I should say. We had a mysterious message appear outside of the wormhole as a giant ball of light saying, "Do not go into the wormhole. Do not blah, blah." Can you clear up that message? That is the message. It seemed pretty clear to me. I don't know, it didn't really seem garbled. It seemed obvious. Do not go into the wormhole. Now we're going into the wormhole. By the way, everybody on that ship, did y'all see that weird ball of light? Everybody on the ship saw it? It's going to be hard to keep this a secret now. We got to the wormhole. Something strange happened. There's something up. Maybe we're not just observing this wormhole. I don't know. Just my thought on that. Part 2, we're following up with Gwyn. Gwyn, by the way, who had a pad two-way conversation with Dal, which failed. Dal was trying to talk to Gwyn. And you know that kind of dialogue where, oh, I know we had a kiss, and then now we got to have the awkward discussion after that, and blah, blah, blah. What's our future together? I mean in Starfleet with technical stuff. Not our future. But, and it caught me off guard. It did get me. The video feed from Gwyn freezes. I'm being really open here. I'm not getting a lot of feedback. But it's frozen. Interesting twist. One we see again with Chakotay. We watch Janeway looking at a message from Chakotay that was left on that isolinear chip, and they reflect each other. Like, Gwyn is breaking up, and Chakotay is breaking up. And Chakotay says something like, "I did this for you." And there's like, they're like two sides of the same coin, kind of. Have you noticed this? This repeating instance of, lovers separated by space in one and then in another through time. Very curious. Listen, this plan, I hate to break it to you, but going down to Solum with nothing and trying to convince people that the Federation is here to help you and we're not bad, that's not going to work. It's probably not a good idea to send just Gwyn on a first contact mission. It's probably not a good idea. You should probably have a first contact corps of Starfleet diplomats with you, who have a lot of evidence for what you're saying. It's probably not a good idea to just go down there like a crazy person and just say, "Hello, everyone. There's aliens." Try that now. Try to do what Gwyn did in this episode. Just go outside and just dress like everybody else and say, "Listen, everyone, there's aliens and they want to help us." What do you think's going to happen? Not much. I don't know what they were expecting. This idea, just on paper, was dumb. Just on its face, it was stupid. Just because you are a Valnicat doesn't... I don't think it's going to help that much. And not only that, we come to realize that Asencia, the villain from Season 1, was already there to poison everybody against the Federation. Now, it's really not going to work. And we do, in an interesting twist, see Asencia's younger self there. Pretty neat. So Asencia has got everybody pulling for her, and Gwyn's got, nothing. Gwyn's just got herself. No evidence, no holograms, just nothing. And Asencia has evidence from a real timeline of something that really happened because of Starfleet. I mean, the first contact didn't go right. Starfleet is not 100% guilt-free. We'll find out more about that in the season, I think. So Asencia has all the cards. Gwyn's got, let's see what Gwyn's got. Pocket lint, a paperclip, and a bit of string. Here you go, guys. Believe the Federation. No, that's not gonna work. But this planet looks freaking sick. I loved it. I love the presentation of everything. I love the origami helmets on these guys that ushered Gwyn into her own defeat at the hands of Asencia and what I assume is like the king or something. Whatever the leader of Valnicat's called. The situation is not very good. Gwyn does escape, only to use her psychic powers to find her own father, Ilthuran, something like that. The Diviner. We knew him as the villain, a villain in Season 1. Now we see the younger, friendly version of him, and it's such a beautiful contrast. The performance was so good. I should mention that these performances, it's nothing short of perfect across the board. Especially the young Diviner. In my time, you're known as the Diviner. By the way, I'm your daughter. And then he believes it. Be cool if Gwyn had like a something to show DNA evidence. You know, something like that. Gwyn does have the heirloom that could only have come from her family, although, according to Asencia, she stole it, and they believe that. But we're kind of okay with the Diviner, Gwyn's father, accepting just face value. Here I was my whole life looking for aliens, and now I found them, and they were my daughter? Oh, wow. I don't know, he believes it, but he does have a Dreadnought, which is just the Lorekeeper. Relax, he's just a librarian, and he looks as cool as ever. I always loved that robot design, right from the moment I saw it, right at the beginning of Prodigy Season 1. And here it is in its good form on Solum, helping with Gwyn's father's library. He's like an astronomer, librarian, scientist type character. A far cry from the Diviner we knew. And this is very compelling to me, even though the circumstances are a little bit, I don't know, maybe contrived. I just wish Gwyn had evidence. I just wish they had devised something to help, to make it so I can believe this a little bit easier. I want to believe it. Just put me over the edge, right? Just give me the last little push. That's all I needed. Maybe kids don't need it. I don't know. But it's probably not wise to design a show just for the mind of a child. I know this is a quote-unquote kid show, but you want it to be, smart. You don't want... When I was a kid, I didn't like being talked down to. I watched something that made me feel smart. That's why kids don't like watching shows about kids. Really. Kids, for some reason, at least when I was a kid, we always identify with the adult characters. Not really the kids. But sometimes it's pretty fun, though. And these kids, kids in Star Trek Prodigy, I do love them. They're very fun. What are they going to do to convince these people here that we're real Valnakat? Well, there's this thing called the Volum Show Vol something, some Starfleet, what am I saying? Star Trek word with like 3 different sections and a little apostrophes. You know the type of thing. It's a ritual. We have to go through it. We all do it. And it proves that you're a real Valnakat. That's how we overcame in our earliest years. It could be dangerous. You've seen it all before. Weird alien rituals, dangerous. We need to do it to prove ourselves. We need to get like political purchase over our enemies here to prevent this civil war that didn't happen yet. Does Asencia have any reason to want the civil war to happen? Here's a question I was thinking of. Asencia comes from a time in Solum where a bad civil war occurred in the future because of a failed first contact with Starfleet. Nominally, that's what happened. Does she want to repeat that? Why are we fighting against Gwyn? Does Asencia want the civil war? That's what I'm starting to wonder. And I mean, it's not a problem. I'm just wondering why she wants that. I mean, it should be bad, right? It looks bad. She's selling the idea to the Valnakat here that it's bad based on all these images of destruction. So, wouldn't she be working along with Gwyn? I guess not. Maybe she just hates Starfleet, and a lot of people do in Star Trek, or hate the Federation for that matter. You know, it's like root beer. You taste it and it tastes terrible. Oh, but it's sweet though, and and you can't stop drinking it. Oh, it's insidious. you know what I'm talking about. That kind of wraps it up for Star Trek Prodigy Season 2, Episode 1 and 2. This was Together Into the Breach. What do we have here? Our characters get Willy Wonka whisked away on a new adventure through this wormhole by stealing a ship. What's that sound like? It sounds like Prodigy Season 1. That's my biggest disappointment here, and why I thought this got worse as it went along. I thought we were going to be on an official Starfleet thing, not more secret shenanigans and stealing a ship and cockamamie schemes. I like that at the beginning, but now we need to grow a little bit, and it's like 3 steps forward, 1 step back. Like, we had no idea what to do with Dal, Jankom, and like. So let's just make them steal a ship again and go on another adventure alone again. It's just we're kind of repeating Season 1. That's what I didn't like about it. Every other aspect is basically spot on. I have a feeling though that Gwyn's adventure on Solum to prevent this civil war, I have a feeling that might be playing second fiddle. I have a feeling that Gwyn might be getting sidelined here. If Gwyn keeps on that track, I'm worried that it's gonna be more interesting on the adventure on board the Infinity. That ship that protects us from timey-wimey shenanigans. The cloak ship that we shouldn't have, that we shouldn't be using to go into a wormhole we shouldn't be going into to rescue Chakotay, which is dangerous, and they're threatening to pull the mission for good reason. Is it worth it to go back there, lose more officers to get Chakotay back? Well, not for me to decide. Starfleet will decide that. But we're, as per usual, we're sidelining the rules a little bit. Shh. Musically, this is it. I loved it. The minute the Doctor showed up on Earth at Starfleet, it just began, listen to it, a beautiful, heartfelt, intimate, sincere piece of music, a little symphony played all the way through to the moment where we were exploring the Voyager. It's just an unbroken segment of beautiful sound. Prodigy, I think it's overall the best sounding new Trek show, short of Picard Season 3, but Picard Season 3 is cheating. It's got too many good musical pieces to draw from. That's cheating. But this show has music good and memorable all on its own. Visually, like I said, just the subjective visual design of things I didn't like, but graphically I think it doesn't impress quite as much as Prodigy Season 1, Episode 1. It doesn't really wow me the same way. I think from an objective standpoint, it looks a little bit cheaper. Not a huge knock against it, but I do have to mention it. Visually, though, like, Solum is beautiful. It's very well designed. That's a huge positive in this regard. We're kind of, so it's more like a half and half on our visuals, I think, from an objective standpoint. Like I said, musically wonderful, visually is half and half. Plot, I don't like the fact that we're rehashing the style of events from Prodigy Season 1, Episode 1. I'm not super happy about that. I like moving forward. I don't like repeating things. I didn't like Dal's poor performance in school here. Everybody else seems to be on the ball except for Dal, but he's our captain. Not very nice. Cockamamie, yes. Contrived, maybe. But fun, definitely. Themes, I think you can see, like, there's the relationship between Dal and Gwyn is here, and there's an awkwardness to it, but there's a difficulty in the technicality of it. The pad freezes. Janeway is trying to talk to Chakotay. She can't. It's a one-way conversation. It's a final message from Chakotay to Janeway. Across time. Perhaps across death. If Chakotay is dead, she doesn't know. And it's like we see the one happy-go-lucky, fun time, kids in love adventure, and then the extremely scary adults in love, perhaps, with huge ramifications, dangerous style. So it's like Prodigy is this adventure of kids becoming adults, and we're seeing that contrast here. I don't know if you noticed this, but I kept seeing a lot of it. This theme park ride we're on in the Voyager kind of gets serious, and in no uncertain terms, we're doing something incredibly dangerous with characters who don't know what they're doing. So thematically, it's a little dry. I gotta dig. We're gonna see how this plays out for the rest of the season, but call me excited. That was Prodigy Season 2, Episode 1 and 2. Beyond all reason, beyond all logic, we have seen it. And like I said, we're going to be going fast here. So be prepared for new things. Change is as good as a rest. Prodigy Season 2, Episode 1 and 2, Into the Breach, Part 1 and 2, is getting a 6.5 out of 10. Pretty good. As far as season openers go, this is in the good side. That's nice. Don't hate me for reviewing 2 episodes and combining them to get an inflated score. Someone might say, well, you reviewed 1 episode here and you gave it a 5, but Prodigy technically had twice as many chances because it gave you 2 episodes, and now you're combining them and now you're giving it a 6.5. That's not fair. Well, they're half an hour long, so they're kind of combining to the same amount of time. So it's really not that weird, right? And I'm Lieutenant Mark, and hopefully I'm not that weird either. Signing off. See you next time. So long.